I'll turn the microphone on. Good evening. Just going to share this over on my personal Facebook page for those who have not yet transitioned to join us here with the new home of Metal Compline at Metal Methodist, facebook.com/Metal Methodist. Hello, Joyce. Yay, it works on our new home and your founders. That's awesome. So yeah, just bear with me while I fiddle with this. Can I share it from in here? I have to shut it. Then I share it. So share as me. So how are we? Evening, Joyce. Have I missed somebody else? I don't know. I've managed to finish church council, an hour and a bit. Not bad. Plus getting in and out in a COVID safe way. And also live on Zoom. So thank you massively to Richard and Audrey Garrett and Sandra as well, who did a dummy run. I know there were issues, but it's nobody's fault. We did our best. So there were a comical moment involved. We could see people on the screen on Zoom. And they could hear us, but the microphones wasn't quite sending it over. So I ended up walking around the church with my phone strapped to a microphone boom and holding it up. So there we go. And tonight I want to just hold those amazing people at Carl Aston in prayer, having accepted a risk assessment, having made a difficult, painful decision that now is not the time to reopen for acts of public worship based on being in a high COVID area and being next door to Sheffield, possibly with talk of that moving into a very high category, and that maybe we can best care for each other by not meeting, that we can perhaps best protect our community by reducing the amount of mixing we do. So by not meeting, that's another way of us trying to serve our community. Yeah, difficult. I don't know. Yeah, people feel the pain of that. So just want to thank them for their decision, and pray that we can continue to show grace to each other. So those who are joining us here, I don't know if anybody's watching on my other Facebook page, but if you want to come and join us so I can see your comments, I'm at Metal Methodist on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Metal Methodist, lowercase, all one word, or just search for Metal Methodist, or look on my feed. There's a public post with the links in as well, posted in the last 10 minutes or so. So I'm not sure who else is in. So how are you, Joyce? I want to thank Paul again, and thank from Nordic Mission, Marcus as well, for chatting to us last night. That was really a cool chat. I love that. So I haven't had time to change the question for the Methodist Way of Life tonight. Now I'm glad to hear you fine, Joyce. Thank you. So maybe we just have a time of sharing when we get to that. I've literally walked in. I'm going to take a moment to breathe while we bang our heads. Okay, so now you can hear the screaming sound of silence. I forgot to share the computer sound. Bear with. Ah, that's better. I wondered why I was still big on screen. Let's just take a moment to and let it out with some metal. Breakdown time. Ooh. Thank you, Joyce. That's lovely. Appreciate that. I need to write some new stuff, really, but yeah. Big finish time. Self-indulgent bass guitar runs. Yeah, that was a gift of sabbatical, having time to write things like that. Let's gather and say good evening to Hugh. Evening, Matt.
As moon rises, the sun slips sight, begins the ritual of this night, for those convinced their path is right. Gathered from north, south, east and west, yet called at another's behest, those treading the path that is left. From near and far, come as you are to this place, and embrace this space as darker hue embraces
Hello,
you.
Hugh.
Of water, spirit, earth and fire, confessing the sins of empire, we come with our wounds and desire. Sensing that we are not alone, drawn to the flame that guides us home, for here you, me and yet to be. Importance and signs of these times, for the sake of all those maligned, is yet the home of the divine.
Tuesday Trito. Muhahaha. just have a moment for the end of Notts County's, the original Magpies, their winning streak coming to a run, an end even. Yes, it's very sad. Never mind. But hey, we trounced Barnet. That's been a long time coming for me and my county watching days. Hello, Rachel. I'm glad you got home all right from church council, Rachel. So last night we introduced this new segment. This is Danish, Tusen tak, which means in a formal way of thank you, but it's from the Old Norse, and the Old Norse translation is 1,000 thank yous. So what are those things from today, even if it's just what seems like the smallest thing that you want to give thanks for today? A sense of the other, the divine, something bigger than ourselves, of grace, of something that just made your soul sing, something that just connected with you in a soul way, whether it was an encounter with nature, somebody else, something you read, something you saw, who knows. Half dog collar, yes, yeah. Well, I finished the church council having a mask and a dog collar on. Obviously, with my lockdown extra poundage, the gap at the top of my shirt is a lot narrower, and there's not much ventilation. So with that and a mask, I was about to pass out. So yeah, this is sort of, it says I'm a vicar, but I'm also approachable. You could talk to me, but also I'll uphold Methodist doctrine and principle. Also, it's quite handy as a sort of wafting device to cool you down. Well, I should have done that, shouldn't I? Just, there we go. Bit of ASMR dog collar. There we go. Yeah, Tusen tak. What do you want to give thanks for? As we do, here's some joyful, uplifting music. Yeah, on with Joyce, we give thanks for the life of Ray, and also thanks that as sad as such occasions are, that things went as well as perhaps they could have done today. We continue to pray for all those who knew Ray, and we give thanks that that there is new life in heaven. And one more in that great cloud of witnesses who with Jesus intercede for us and with us. Hello, Sally. Oh, too much growling, man. And maybe this includes aspects of the pain of saying until we see you again to somebody that we've known and loved. Also thinking about the painful decision for many taken at the church council I was at tonight. But maybe you too have things that you want to just let go of and give to God, or things that you don't need to carry anymore today. You don't need to have them running around your head and chewing like an earworm, because actually you're fearfully and wonderfully made. It says so in God's word. So you can't argue with that. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are awesome, dude. And so any things that contradict that and that speak against that, we're going to lay them down, and then we can leave them there. Yes, Sally, a very well, an hour and a bit. I at one point I was using on Zoom, for those at home, I was carrying around my phone gaffer taped to a microphone stand so people could hear from a 2 meter distance. It was quality. So let's offer those things, whatever they are. It's the one who is with us and hears us the principalities and will to power, the words from within my own darkest hour. I confess all the regress and the regrets, the burdens, oh, yeah, and the fears, yeah, the lament and the tears. We lay them down. And no matter how far away we might feel from God, from the divine, whatever word you want to use, God in Jesus, just like the story of the prodigal son, even while we're far off, God in Jesus comes running out to meet us, arms open wide, and welcomes us and gives us a massive hug and says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." So may that rest be yours this night and with those whom you love. Amen. Ue mo. I don't know. I forgot how to say Bible in French. Ue mon metal Bible. Oh, Rachel. So you tried to give blood, but because of no. Sorry, Rachel. I'm sorry that's twice you've not been able to do something as a way of caring for others and giving of yourself, literally, but also that your iron levels are low. Prayers that, that whether it's supplements or whatever, that you can get the sort of medical support that you need, that things improved. I'm glad Solly's thankful for amazing amazing super colleagues. No, amazing co-super colleagues. Yeah, amen. Praying with all who feel burdened at this time by pressures of life, church, and all things. Yes. Well, I'll just say I've got one really good co-super colleague, and one less so. And all I'll say is the less so, their name might begin with the letter S. I don't want to give anything away, but it might begin with the letter S and end in Ali. I'm joking, Sally. I'm joking. Oops, I'm going to pay for that in a Zoom tomorrow, aren't I? So I know we didn't do the reading last night, so we're going to do that tonight, even though it's not the one set for today in the Methodist Word in Time Daily Bible Study. But I'm going to read from 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 15 to 17. Hey, Sally, at least you can't spit in my coffee on Zoom, so, Be careful of him, for he fought against everything we said. So this is Paul's final words. The first time I was brought before the judge, no one came with me. Everyone abandoned me. May it not be counted against them. But the Lord stood with me and gave me strength so that I might preach the good news in its entirety for all the Gentiles to hear. And he rescued me from certain death. I realized that I didn't need to read verse 14. Sorry. That was about somebody who was who'd kind of harmed and slandered and wronged Paul. Verse 15. No, sorry. Yeah. So, any thoughts or reflections on that reading? Big shout out as always to Carl Johannes Jonsson and all at metalbibleinternational.com. Remember, they've got new mugs and other merchandise available to support the translating of the Bible for heavy metal fans, particularly at the moment, trying to get it out in Latin America. As we heard from Paul from Nordic Mission, actually, it's a big heavy metal loving country. People there keen to go to Nordic Mission, so it's a really vital piece of work, in my humble opinion. But yeah, that reading from from Paul's letter to Timothy. I wonder if we have felt perhaps wrongly accused or abandoned by people in our hour of need, where people wanted to stick up for you or support you and vindicate you, but for whatever reason, fear, not wanting to be seen to take sides, didn't stand up to be countered. But I just love Paul's grace in the middle of that. No one came with me. Everyone abandoned me. May it not be counted against them. So even in those situations, may we find grace. But also, if we ever feel that we are abandoned by others, hold on to these words: "The Lord stood with me and gave me strength, so that I might preach the good news in its entirety." That with the strength of the Lord standing with us and within us and speaking through us, that whatever others do or don't do, again, as I said at the beginning, we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and who you are in God is a preaching of the good news. The people in here now, those who are going to watch later, you are a preaching of the good news, a sharing of the good news of hope and of light, of justice, joy and peace and love, because of who you are in God and how you live in the power of the Holy Spirit, even at times like this. So bless you. So this is the question we asked last night. I haven't had time to go in and put in a question for today, so just leave it open. If there are things that people want to share, we're used to it now, that the purpose of this Methodist way of life thing is it gets back to some of the early days of Methodism, dare I say the heyday of Methodism, in terms of a movement for the transformation of the world in line with the values of God's kingdom of justice, joy and peace and love, and to reform from within the church, and essentially to be out and about and connecting with ordinary people, and so people would meet in small groups and talk to each other about how their attempts to follow Jesus were going, sharing the good stuff and the things that we're struggling with. And that's what the Methodist way of life is. And so we ask these questions each night as a way of doing that for today, particularly in this time of physical isolation or not being able to gather physically. But actually we can still support each other and share in each other's journey. So in that spirit of kind of sharing what's bringing us joy and life, and we think, yeah, that's the God thing, that's awesome, or I feel I was used by God in this way today, or I saw God at work in this person or in this place or situation, or equally, if you want to share stuff that actually I'm really struggling with this, whatever it is today, and again, just remember that these posts are public, so just invite you to use whatever wisdom in terms of it feels right for you in terms of what you share. Sally, thank you. I think we need to reach both within and out beyond ourselves to find that divine connection. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. What was it Wesley said? There's no such thing as a solitary Christian. God is within us, absolutely. But actually it is through, we also, I guess, believe that God is at work ahead of us, prevenient grace, and actually reaching out, connecting with others. I'm not talking church people. I'm saying they're very interesting places where you go, "Oh, I've just been whacked around the face by God. I did not expect that in that person or in this place. Wow, that's prevenient grace," and how that connects us to that sense of the divine, the other, the ground of our being, God, whatever language you want to use. I suppose to answer the question I've posed myself, in terms of discipleship, I guess I'm finding having this space and being accountable in this way really helpful. The fact that others are finding it helpful. Hello, Northwest. That's really, really encouraging. And as I said during my sabbatical, just being able to connect with people like this you were an absolute saving grace, and I genuinely mean that. Sorry, to be able to share struggles is liberating. Yes, because actually then it might be the same burden, but maybe it's a bit lighter because we're carrying it together. What is it in that ancient, amazing hymn with a sort of plain song, plain chant tune? I will hold the Christ light for you in the nighttime of your fear, and I may have the grace to let you be my servant too. Yeah. Yeah, so in terms of stuff, I guess I don't know. I suppose, yeah, in terms of discipleship, I say this accountability is good, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate you all in that. And hopefully, in some way, I'm offering something that's helpful to you in your discipleship in whatever way this is. But I think, you know, being really honest, I've really struggled with this whole question of, you know, being a minister, you know, supporting and serving with churches, and the fact that legally, it seems to me, whatever tier of COVID restrictions you find yourself in, you're able to open because you're a COVID secure venue, assuming you've done your risk assessments and you comply with it. But it's really hard knowing that people want to, but then watching figures rise and looking at people in the church going, but at the start of this, you were the ones with shielding letters. Has that really changed in reality? Is it really safe? I don't know. It's your decision as a church council in the Methodist system. It's the church council's decision. I will honour whatever you want, but I don't want to make anybody ill. I don't want to risk people in the community being ill. I want us to be able to be a witness to the community. And how do we do that if we're not in the building? Well, actually, we do that as individual disciples in our community, don't we? And equally, how could we use the building, even if we're not worshipping in it, to serve the community as a place, as I said, I think previously, or certainly on Sunday morning, as a place for linked to supporting a food bank, the drop-off point, or you know, as a place for people to get flu jabs, as happened at a church near here. Yeah, but just all of that, I've really struggled with. I suppose either people looking for you for some leadership and going, yeah, but it's your decision. That's a cop out, but I don't want to guide you because then that's my opinion. And oh God, what should I say? And then trying to feel you've heard God. So maybe what I'm struggling with is that sense of sometimes you'd really appreciate, you know, a sort of Monty Python thing. You know, yes, you, you know, or God just really spelling it out for you so you know you've heard, and you can share that. And maybe it's difficult when we haven't got that. And so we just, again, by sharing, perhaps God is in our sharing and the wisdom that comes from that conferring, maybe. Yeah, and again, I say all that, and you know, knowing that people like Matt here go, what am I on about? I've got, what am I complaining about? Or going, oh, that's really hard. No, it's not really, not compared to, you know, what some of the partners of All We Can are doing on the ground, supporting street children in India. People who are walking to work with COVID symptoms and soaring fevers, because if they don't make that journey in that state, there will be no work or income that day, and there will be no food. Yeah, so again, as Tim shared with us when he was with us a couple of weeks ago, you know, counting my blessings as well. So that's where I'm at, a general sharing. Anything else that people want to share in terms of how they're getting on in terms of faith, and trying to, or whatever believe, maybe, you know, and it's cool, you know, actually, okay, yeah, I can't sign up to the whole God thing, or I certainly can't sign up to the church thing, but maybe there's something in the example of Jesus that appeals, and actually is something that draws you as a way of life and wisdom in teaching, and maybe you're trying to follow that route. And how's that going? Anything else that people want to share? No pressure to, but thank you, Leslie. The expectation to attend, yeah, yeah. And again, I just think it's a huge word. I was training once and a vicar school, and the lecturers goes, "Oh, give me some big theological words," and people are chucking out words that I didn't know then and still don't know now, like soteriology, and theology and ecclesiology, and blah, 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 blah. And someone at the back just went, "Grace." No, it's a short word, but as a concept, a concept in a way of talking of God, theology, that's what theology means, talking about God. on seeking to understand and learn more about God. Grace, it's massive. It's when you start to think about it, we don't deserve it, but God forgives us and loves us despite all we are and all we've done and all humanity is and all humanity does, as well as all the good bits. It's huge, and we need that grace now more than ever. So that, whether that expectation, grace to ourselves, if that expectation is coming from us, or the expectation from others, that actually we've just got to make the best decisions we can at this time, the best next step for us, and to trust and respect each other's decisions. So prayers for you, Leslie. And as Tim was saying the other night, I think we have banned the word should. So, should people attend? It's not the question. I guess is it wise and safe for you, having prayed about it, to attend church? Is that in a physical building? Is that the best way for you to, for your discipleship and for you to love and care for others and all those things? Maybe that's the question. Sorry, I just dispensing wisdom like I know what I'm talking about, and I really, really don't. I was going to... Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, just talking about grace. I was going to share this. That I think I wrote when I was in a bit of a narc, and realised that, I wish people would be more gracious, and then end up going, oh yeah, but actually that includes me. So just as we think about that, if it's helpful, I'll share this. If it's not, it's not. And then we'll get to some praying. Or is God saying don't share it because I can't find the blessed thing? Oh, there it is. Just as I said that, I found it. So I like to talk about grace because it's an undeserved thing that shows love's face. It's amazing. And that's the thing. It's found in surprising places. It's in all colours and ages and races. It's in all sexualities and genders. It's in and for you and me. It's in and for, they and we. It pays no regard to ability. And these are strange times we're living and working and dying in. So maybe we need grace more than ever. Hashtag All We Can 117. Let's hold together. As we all just try to hold together. Maybe we just do all we can do and trust that others are doing too, without judging but loving. Because we all have our story and perhaps we're still writing. And maybe we need the grace and space for others to join in. When it comes to your story, I might have missed the beginning. So I pray that in my heart, I'll do my best to be more forgiving. But the amazing thing about grace could be if in your heart you could do the same for me. Hello, Margaret. Yeah, no, Matt. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the amazing Ellis. Yeah, Jesus, grace with a face. Yeah. And actually, through us and our responses, even in these times, and what we do, what we say, how we do it, how we say it, where we put ourselves, where we put our time, our money, we are the face of grace. We are showing the face of the grace of Jesus to others. Absolutely, my friend. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So other things we want to pray for this evening. Again, I just lift all those who knew Ray. So obviously, particularly Joyce. Continue to pray for Neil. Pray for all those who are struggling with the decision we've made tonight as a church council not to open for acts of public worship. And for the plans that we've talked about for how we can still be a witness and a presence within our community as the church, because we're not a building, we're a people. Anything else that others want to share? Yeah, thank you, Sally. Absolutely. So for the funeral tomorrow, prayers for you, for all gathered, not just for kind of actual COVID safety, but for all those feelings, and that there might be a sense of, despite all of that, hope and good news, not just for the deceased, but for each and every person there. Sorry, I just pulled something in my back. About to witness some live on air pain faces. Oh. So let's offer those prayers, spoken and unspoken. Excuse me, and pray for all those who have kind of connected with this group in the last couple of days, and just pray that there's something that is helpful for you. Pray that there is, and it's good to have you here. So we pray. To the one in whom all people and all creation have their being, may your kingdom come, your will be done, as above, so below. Sustain us for this day. Show us grace, yes, as we seek to show grace to those we feel have wronged us, and indeed with all humanity and all creation in our own little way, and that God takes what we do and blesses it. Save us from the worst that is within us and within this world. For the kingdom, the power and the glory are yours now, oh yeah, and forever. Amen. Oh, thank you for my press my back. Don't worry, we've got your back. That's genius. Thank you, Matt. That's cheered me up. I'll try not to laugh too hard because I twinge again. But thank you, Joyce. I'm glad it's helpful. That's really, really makes me a bit tearful, that in a good way. Bless you. St. Joyce of Whiteman. Thank you. Thank you, Leslie. So, let's send each other as we ask that the peace of the All-Parent be ours this night and in the time that is and yet still to come, with all people and all creation. Amen. Yeah, so hoping people are beginning to find us here at our new home, Metal Methodist on Facebook, facebook.com Metal Methodist. This is just a way of trying to make it simpler for people to find it rather than going, hey, James, who, what, where, what? Yeah, so please do, if you feel it's appropriate, kind of share that link to any people who might have missed it or to people you think might find it helpful. And yes, see you tomorrow evening. Yeah, thank you all. Sorry it's late, but thank you for those who are able to join. And it must be cocoa time, no? What a medal drink. I say cocoa, I'm having options light. See my previous point about the gap between my collar and my neck getting slimmer and thinner and thinner, and I need to get some more air down my neck wearing a dog collar. So do you know what, people? Let's end with a sway. Cheers, Matt. Thanks, Joyce. Go well. Amazing, amazingly made, awesome people who are the divine image and the face of grace, which is Jesus, where you are. Go well. God bless.